You're standing in your kitchen. Normal enough, right? Except the clock shows a different time every time you glance at it. The doorway leads to a beach, and your dog, is explaining your tax return with complete confidence, and you just accept it. Of course the ocean is in the kitchen. Of course the dog is a CPA. That's just how dreams work. But then something happens that almost never happens inside a dream. A single thought cuts through everything. Wait, this isn't real. You look around. The walls are still solid. The floor still holds you. Light bounces off every surface. Your body feels completely present, but you know, somehow, impossibly, that none of this is coming through your eyes. You're asleep. And inside the hallucination, you just became conscious of the hallucination. That's a lucid dream, and it's one of the strangest things the human brain can do. Here's what most people get wrong about it, though. It's not just waking up without opening your eyes. That description sounds right, but it misses the whole point. You haven't actually woken up. Your body is still in bed. Your muscles are still switched off. The real room around you, totally absent. And yet, part of your mind that normally just goes along with everything has suddenly switched back on. You can question what's happening. You remember your real life. You can make decisions, follow a plan, even try to control the world around you. The sleeping brain becomes both the director of reality and the only person who knows it's all fake. At the same time, simultaneously. Yeah, let that sink in. So what's actually going on up there? First thing you need to know, regular dreams are already conscious experiences. You see things, you hear things, you feel fear, hunger, joy. A nightmare can make your heart race even though the threat is completely fictional. Dream pain feels unpleasant. Dream food can actually have taste. And dream people, they can argue with you. Pretty convincingly, actually. Which is impressive, considering they're being generated by the same brain that's currently losing that argument. So it's not that ordinary dreams lack consciousness, they lack insight. You're experiencing a world without recognizing where it's coming from. You don't stop to wonder why your childhood bedroom is floating above a city you've never visited. You don't ask how you got there. Critical thinking? Gone. Memory? Unstable. Contradictions? The brain just folds them into the story. When you're awake, your brain is constantly checking. Does this make sense? How did I get here? What happened 5 minutes ago? In a dream, those questions basically disappear. The brain is a world-class special effects department with absolutely nobody supervising it. Lucid dreaming is when the supervisor shows up. Sometimes it starts with something obviously off. You fly by accident. Someone who passed away is suddenly standing there. Your hands look completely wrong. Words on a page refuse to stay still. Other times, there's no obvious trigger. The knowledge just arrives. This is a dream. That's a metacognitive moment, thinking about your own mental state instead of just being in it. Instead of just seeing the kitchen, you recognize that your brain is producing the kitchen. The dream becomes something you're aware of while you're still inside it. And here's where it gets philosophically wild. Your brain built a version of you, placed that version inside a world, and then allowed that version to figure out that both the world and itself are constructed. That's kind of a lot. Now, scientists were skeptical about all this for a long time. A person could claim anything after waking up. Maybe the lucid dream was just a brief moment of waking. Maybe the memory was reconstructed. Maybe they just wanted to impress the researcher. The breakthrough came from the eyes. During REM sleep, almost every muscle in your body is inhibited, basically switched off so you don't physically act out your dreams. But the eye muscles? Still active. So researchers had an idea. What if a lucid dreamer agreed on a specific eye movement signal before falling asleep? Like left, right, a pattern no random dream twitch would produce. They fall asleep. They go lucid. They move their dream eyes in that exact pattern. And the physical eyes, under closed eyelids, move the same way. The dreamer just sent a message from inside the dream without waking up. That single experiment changed everything. Lucid dreaming went from an interesting story to a scientifically verified state of consciousness. And what researchers found inside that state is fascinating. It's not a brain that's fully awake. It's something in between, a hybrid. Physiologically still asleep, but regions tied to self-reflection, attention, working memory, and voluntary control, they're more active than in regular dreams, especially the prefrontal and parietal cortex, the areas that help you evaluate information, monitor your own thinking, and maintain a sense of self. During ordinary sleep, these go quiet, which is probably why you never question the accountant dog. During lucidity, they partially switch back on. It's like a theater where the director just walked back on stage mid-show and realized the audience, the actors, and the entire building are all part of the same performance. But here's something a lot of people don't expect. Knowing you're dreaming doesn't automatically make you powerful. Some people go lucid and can fly, summon people, reshape whole environments. Others go lucid and can't change a single thing. They're fully aware it's their own brain producing everything, and their brain is still saying no. Because dream control isn't the same thing as dream awareness. They're completely separate skills. The dream world runs on expectations, emotion, and memory. If you expect a locked door to stay locked, it stays locked, even if you know no physical lock exists. If you're afraid something's behind you, you've just given your brain a very efficient suggestion. Forcing things often backfires, but expecting things? That works better. Don't command a person to appear. Expect them to be behind the next corner. Don't try to violate gravity through sheer will. Imagine being lifted. It works because waking perception works the same way. Your brain doesn't passively record the world. It builds a model and constantly corrects it with sensory input. In a dream, sensory input is basically gone, so prediction becomes nearly everything. That's why dream objects feel solid. Your brain already knows what solid feels like. It can generate texture, pressure, weight, without anything actually being there. First-time lucid dreamers usually make the same mistake. They realize they're dreaming, get incredibly excited, try to do something dramatic, and wake up 3 seconds later. Congratulations, you successfully noticed a wall. Strong emotion can push the sleeping brain toward waking, especially in the morning when REM sleep is longest and lucid dreams are most common. Experienced dreamers get around this by grounding themselves in the dream. Touch something. Look at your hands. Focus on detail. The more attention you give the dream, the more stable it tends to stay. But there's a catch. The more convincing it gets, the easier it is to forget you're dreaming in the first place. Lucidity can slip away without warning. 1 second you're a conscious explorer, the next, you've completely accepted that the flying accountant dog is just a normal Tuesday. There's also something called a false awakening. You wake up, check your phone, walk to the bathroom, and then notice something's off. You never actually woke up. The dream simulated the morning, completely, down to your room, your phone, your routine. Some people experience several of these in a row, and this is the uncomfortable truth that lucid dreaming keeps circling back to. Certainty is just a feeling your brain produces. In a regular dream, that feeling attaches to impossible things. In a false awakening, it attaches to a fake bedroom. And in waking life, sensory evidence does a much better job constraining it. But your brain is still building a model, still constructing reality. Lucid dreaming just makes that process visible. So is it useful? Yes, but carefully. Some people use it to confront recurring nightmares, recognize that the threat isn't real, and change how they respond. That's shown real promise in early research. Others use it for creativity or just to experience things that aren't physically possible. But chasing lucid dreams aggressively can fragment your sleep. Lucid nightmares are real. And if you already struggle with distinguishing internal experience from external reality, deliberately blurring that line further isn't a great idea. It's not magic. It's not dangerous for most people. It's just one of the most bizarre things your brain does completely on its own. Every night, while you're lying perfectly still, your mind builds a universe, steps inside it, and occasionally looks around and notices.